Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. And today I really want to share a message with you guys in defense of the Constitution, First Amendment, our rights that are God given, that are pushing off big government through the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and how cryptocurrency, and I think Litecoin specifically, can be a method for that. So, I'm going to bring Johnny on, and hopefully Westwood jumps in here. He made it to the house a little while ago, and he's over on Hash It Out, and they let me jump on and say hi and talk about the upcoming event this weekend. We'll talk about all of that right after this. Welcome back, Johnny. Good to see you.
What's up, Lisa? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sorry. I've been absent from the channel mostly. I did a quick video to promote the happy hour upcoming event, but we did have a death in the family recently. Charlie's mom passed, and so that's left us kind of handling some family things and really busy. So I appreciate everybody showing up today and being community and support for us and all of that. So I wanted to talk today about, so this morning on World Blockchain Roundtable, Mom got to join us. If you guys haven't seen that, go to Dragon Chain and look for WBRT or World Blockchain Roundtable. And it's an episode. It was like, how do we get grandmas to use the blockchain? And I was like, well, I've got the reverse because my mom taught me about the blockchain. So I liked that opportunity to get to share that story and have her perspective on it. What does she think would help, and what does she think would help with kind of, I don't know, adoption's almost an overused word anymore, but they had a really good discussion to get use case and utility to the people who need it, that are looking for those things, and for them to understand what that is. I guess that kind of segues into what I really wanted to talk about today, because they were talking about how, the older generations a lot of times are familiar with, like when my parents went to opt out of the system, they were trying to do it through precious metals. And I know a lot of people do that. And, but then there's downfalls with that, especially as you get older. Physically carrying it or protecting it is an issue, and, using it day to day, because we are in this digital world. So then there has been this big attack on the First Amendment, not just to President Trump and them gagging him every time he gets sued, but there was a couple articles I sent to you on Twitter. The big FISA thing is coming out. So this new, it's crazy. The way that the vote to reauthorize FISA, the new intent on FISA is basically like tell on your neighbor kind of thing, and get benefit from it. I mean, it reminds me of those horrible stories, like where people came back from World War II, that they had been picked up and whatever, and the neighbor feels terrible because they're like, oh, we saw them come get you and we did nothing, and we didn't think you'd survive, but now you're back, and now we're ashamed that we were a part of the abuse and atrocity that you went through. And so that's where, like, the freedom of speech is just being attacked over and over again. Where did I put that article? So my thought was, if everything goes to zero and money is destroyed, but we're actually given our freedom, and we understand that the tool or the use case of Bitcoin is for, you can send messages. You can send messages over, but the only problem with Bitcoin is that it's open source, right? So then I'm like, my gosh, Litecoin is right there. It's right now. It is a solution for us to be able to peer-to-peer transmit information. Freedom of speech. Oh,
Sorry.
UPS man's here.
Mailman.
Mailman. Okay. I can remember which one they loved. But for us to be able to transmit messages privately, that was kind of the reason for, or a lot of people are drawn to dollar bills because they can transact privately. It's nobody's business. Hey, it's a cash deal. There's no third party reporting, there's no middleman. But in this digital system, or this digital world that we're moving to, I really see Litecoin, and Litecoin with MWeb specifically, as a solution. So that was kind of the train I went on, but I want to hear your thoughts on it and let you kind of unpack and where you see this benefiting humanity in our fight for freedom.
The dogs just stopped. Good thing. So
Perfect timing.
they go nuts for the mailman, the UPS man.
I love it.
Who's ever here walking by, they go crazy. But all right, so a lot to unpack there. Let me start with saying that I don't think everything has to go to zero.
Okay.
So my thing is, why not both?
Okay.
So I look at cryptocurrency like Litecoin, like Bitcoin, and like people should look at precious metals. Sorry,
that's okay. It's okay. We love dogs. We're a dog family.
Hounds are loud.
I know. They're doing their job though.
When they see something, they go.
Oh, I know. They're doing their job. They're protecting you.
I'm back at the house today because I was watching them. So it's well, somebody's here. So
all the things.
All right. So I don't think everything has to go to zero.
Okay.
I look at Litecoin, Bitcoin, gold, silver as a way to preserve value. So I think that's a good way to. You shouldn't necessarily, a lot of people look at it as we see number go up, get rich, buy the Lambo, all this stuff. And we're blinded by that. And that's what a lot of society has become, right? But my thinking is that this is a way to fight against the inflation or potential hyperinflation that's coming. We already have inflation, but it could protect against hyperinflation. So it's a real way to preserve value, meaning if Bitcoin goes to, say Bitcoin goes to $600,000 or $700,000 per coin, or Litecoin goes to $800 per coin, $900 per coin. So let's say they each 10 times what they're at now.
Mm-hmm.
But say a gallon of milk goes from $6 a gallon to $60 a gallon. People say, well, that's ridiculous. Well, in hyperinflation, it could go much higher than that.
Yeah, we don't even know what's coming yet.
So let's say milk is $60 a gallon, right? Well, in that case, your Bitcoin and your Litecoin, they didn't make you money. They preserved your wealth, meaning that they preserved your purchasing power. So you gave you a lifeboat out of the system. It also gives you a potential way to preserve freedom in the future. So again, I'm in it for both. I'm in it for wealth preservation and purchasing power preservation, and also to help save your freedom. So in other words, social credit scores may be coming. Mm-hmm. CBDCs may be coming. Your social credit score may not allow you to buy meat that month, may not allow you to buy any more eggs. Maybe you can't get that extra gallon of milk. Maybe you can't get what you want. It says, hey, you already had enough. Yeah. Now you have to eat bugs.
Too many farts. You're out.
100%. So I really like it for both. And that's why I'm big on, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I don't think things are going to go to zero. That's a real, I don't see that happening. I see more disruption in the markets, inflation continuing, And
To the point of hyperinflation.
potentially, now I don't know how much they can manipulate us. I do see it would, mathematically we should have already had hyperinflation. But the reason we haven't, the dollar is the reserve currency of the world.
Not for long.
Not for long. And some people say, well, is it still because of oil? But it's recognized as the reserve currency. In normie land, it's the reserve currency of the world. So with that said, again, it's it could be coming. So the main thing is it's to preserve purchasing power, but for freedom. And that's the thing. In the future, if you're using an app that a central bank digital currency would be connected to, now remember, that's programmable money. They're going to have the kill switch behind the scenes, control of the app, and they might say, okay, you can only buy X amount of this per month. You go more than that, it won't work. Your currency won't work. Right now, we don't realize that because we have cash. See, cash is great. Obviously, it's a Fed note, so we don't like what they're doing behind the scenes with that cash and the value. But the idea of cash, it's private. It's fungible. I like that. So what I always said to people was, me liking Litecoin or Bitcoin, I'm not anti-cash. I'm pro-cash. But it's a way to give you that cash-like experience in the digital world in which we live. And we have a digital tidal wave coming at us where everything's going digital. So people got to wake up and realize, hey, we need solutions that work for us. And that's where a lot of things have been hijacked and corrupted. Number go up, ETF, get rich. So they want you focused on that, meme coins. They want you distracted. So you don't think of this as a way to preserve your freedom and preserve your wealth. They want you thinking as, hey, that's crypto. That's risky. You can make a lot of money, but it's risky. Ooh, that's not a good way to store value. Oh no, you keep your money in the bank. That's the safe thing to do. Put a couple percent maybe into crypto. That's safe, but don't get crazy with it. So it's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of distractions to attempt to lead us to a world, like they said, by 2030, you will own nothing, you will be happy. And that's almost, if you think about it, where we're going. Ownership is less. Lease everything, rent everything.
Yeah.
Don't own.
Now, I saw an ad the other day for a whole community, and that's how they were promoting it is, this is a community of renters. Everyone, think of coming home and sharing your neighborhood with everyone who's renting. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, the American dream was always to own your own home and have peace and happiness and all of that. And it's like, now they're saying the American dream is renting your home from BlackRock.
That's communism. That's the idea of communism.
Yeah.
Communism means you share everything. And the American dream has already been destroyed. Now, it's not to say you can't make money and earn a living. You can, but you have to be very good at what you do. You have to really excel in what you do. And that's the idea of the American dream was you can work a job, you could support your family, you could own your home, you put food on the table. Your wife would stay home, kind of take care of the house, and then you go to work, you come home and you have the nice house, the picket fence, 2 kids and the dog kind of thing. And that's the, then your kids can go to college and you can afford it.
And they would have a better life than you.
Yeah, and that's
And now
been
it's gone
taken from
backwards.
us.
They all live in their mother's basement and
If
they complain they can't afford to buy a home. Yeah.
if you look at it, we've been destroyed on all levels. So you almost, in a sense, don't blame, even though it's a weak mindset, you almost don't blame these kids for having that mindset, because look at what's presented to them. You can't buy a home. It's unrealistic now for most normies or most average people to buy a home. Look at the two things that have went up the most compared to the posted rate of inflation. It's housing and it's education. What are the two things the government has gotten involved with the most?
Right.
Housing and
What backs the US dollar? Student debt.
loan debt. Yeah, sure. Student loan debt. So they've ruined it for us, point blank. People say, well, doesn't every kid have the right to go to college? And that's not what college was about. They've made it so it's worthless. They've made it, and if you think of the term worthless, it's worth less than it was before. And when you send every kid to college, now all of a sudden the degree doesn't have the same oomph. It's not worth the same. Well, everybody has a degree. What does that matter, kind of thing? You know what I mean? And they've driven up the price of it and made it less valuable. So it's really, not only is it more expensive, it's not even as important because everybody's doing it. Anything, it's more impressive. I've always been in sales. Somebody comes in and says, I have a degree from a 4-year university. I'm like, okay. If somebody comes in and says, hey, I didn't go to college, but I've been doing sales for commission only for these companies.
Right.
It was my sales experience. I'm going to say, well, I want that guy or that girl. I don't care that you went to college for 4 years. Sounds like fun. It's fun. Sounds like you had a good time, but that doesn't help you sell here. What are you going to go in to visit customers and say, hey, I got a 4-year degree? Like you have no clue about what it's
real life experience.
Real life experience.
Case,
And I don't blame again, I don't blame kids and young people. There's a war against the citizens. There's a war against masculinity. There's a war, like I talked about, the war against testosterone. They want us to be weak men, right? Take the strong man away from the family. Be weak. And make it seem like to women, oh, you want to take care of your house and take care of your family? That's weak, they tell women.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. To me, that's a strong woman.
That's what you were created. Yeah. To be a nurturer, to be a life giver, to be, all those
things. Not that I'm against women working by any means, but I don't say women are weak because they take care of a good home, they cook good meals, and they take care of things. That to me is a very strong woman that can do that. So they've attacked us on that level. They've attacked the currency. I can't call it money. It's not money. It's currency. They've attacked the currency. They've driven up the price of everything. So now you can't buy a home. Everything's expensive. If you have student loans, you're going to be in debt for forever paying these student loans, pretty much. I mean, you come
out of the trap in itself with the way that interest comes out on it. I mean, I have people that they're 20, they've had student loans longer than they've been married, and they're in their 50s. I'm just like,
and it's even worse now because the price is so much higher. You're only paying interest in the beginning. It's interest only that you're paying.
Wow.
So you're not even paying the loan down. You're just paying interest. You're just treading water. And then, it was bad enough 20 or 30 years ago. And now look at the price of things. These people have these student loan debt. I'm probably the average person with $100,000 in student loan debt. They're probably going to have that debt till they're, I'd say 50, 60 years old.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane.
Just depending on.
They've attacked us there. They're attacking us with social media. They're attacking our values. They're making people's moral compass go into the tubes. They're really getting us on all angles. You know, they're at war against us, and there's getting us. They're attacking the food, the chemicals, the chemtrails, the lying, the misinformation. Operation Mockingbird, where the media is controlled by a few big companies that all tell you the same thing. The First Amendment's under attack. So now there's a war on free speech. The banks, look at the Patriot Act. Look at that, the Patriot Act. It's supposed to, it's patriotic, isn't it?
No.
I talked to somebody today about it. They said, why do I have to give my personal information for a merchant account to process credit card payments? And I said, because of the USA Patriot Act. The government hates you. And I said that it was intended for terrorists, and now they've weaponized it against each and every one of us. I said, so now when I set up this merchant account for you, I have to collect all this information, which I obviously don't want to get, but it's required. And you have to give your personal information and back this because of a terrorist attack in September 2001 that this was designed to go after the terrorists, which I said from the start. I was a kid. I recognized that. I said, this ain't going to be used against terrorists. This is going to be weaponized against all of us. And sure enough, it is. Now they've weaponized the financial system against us so much that if you even talk about privacy or anything like that, it's, well, you must be a criminal. What are you hiding from? Why do you want privacy? Why do you need that? And it's
yeah, if you're not doing something bad, then why do you need privacy? Well, I'm sorry, but like, I'm also not walking down the street naked.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Westwood, don't worry about that. That one's broken.
I rigged it a little bit.
Okay, I appreciate you. We have like no, it's my fault. The dog, don't worry about it. They're okay. I think he's coming in here. But the dog gate is broken.
Oh, God.
I didn't give him the secret way to do it or whatever.
That house rules on how to open it.
I know, it's terrible. But yeah, no, I totally.
But I think, Lisa, I think Litecoin is a good tool for our freedom, more so than Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin's a financial asset. We see banks and these institutions talking about Bitcoin. That's what's up, Westwood. How are you?
Charlie, there we go. Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
What's up? So
beer.
There you go. Nice, nice.
He's got a refill. I'll join him.
So we're talking about Westwood, about tools of our freedom, and I was just talking about how everything's kind of there's a war against us, and they've kind of
I got from 84 Litecoin. Million.
Oh, nice, sweet.
I got the chicken.
Yes.
84 Litecoin. He's
84million.com. You can get yourself a chicken with a Litecoin.
Very nice, very nice.
All right.
I got these old school Litecoin shirts I made years ago.
Heck yeah, I got that one too.
I'm wearing my Westwood one, I think tomorrow, or maybe on Saturday. I don't know. I've got my Westwood, my really old school tee.
Nice.
I'll meet up there. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
I haven't worn this shirt in a while, and I said I had a few of them that got worn over time, but I had one of them that was kind of nice. I broke it back out the other day, and I just washed it. Let me wear it again. So these shirts.
Did you get any questions about it?
You know, once in a while, I wear them to the gym a lot. Once in a while, somebody comes up and asks me something. But what I have had a few people ask me about, I carry 3 pieces of silver with me wherever I go, and I throw those on top of my phone at the gym. I have had some people ask me about the silver. What is that? Why do you carry those coins and that what is that? So I've kind of explained to them why, and I said it's to kind of teach people about money, and it's a reminder that they've robbed our freedom. I explained to people that it's written into the we have fake money. It's written into the Constitution that silver is $1, a certain amount of weight in silver, and that look what they're doing to us. And I said, I teach people about cryptocurrency. But in order to teach people about cryptocurrency, you have to give them a little bit of a backstory. If not, they look at it like a stock. And that's exactly what the government wants. And they don't want you. You got to look at it from a monetary angle. And I kind of said in the beginning, Westwood, about Lisa brought up everything going to zero. The Litecoin Bitcoin will still be tools of freedom, and it could potentially be a messaging system. So I said, well, I don't think everything's going to go to zero. I said, why not both? I like Litecoin and Bitcoin as a way to preserve purchasing power and preserve our freedom. So I explained, I said, what if Litecoin goes to $900 a coin and Bitcoin goes to 70,000, which would roughly 10 times where we're at now. But a gallon of milk goes from $6 a gallon to $60 a gallon.
Yeah.
Well, in a sense, you have the same purchasing power, but if you held dollars, you're going to really be strapped if you're spending $60 on a gallon of milk. What if to fill your car, gas was $30 a gallon? And now all of a sudden to fill your car, it costs you $350, $400 a fill up. You ain't going to be driving around a lot, I'll tell you that. And your dollar ain't going to go far. So it's, yeah. And look, here's a great example I tell people. What if in 2002, you got abducted by aliens and you had $100,000 in cash, and the alien said, we're going to give you till nightfall to do something with your $100,000 in cash. You could hide it. You could put it into other assets. What do? Right?
You could put it in gold backs that our friend St. Jerome sent us.
Yeah.
Thank you for the donation for the event.
Yeah.
So awesome. I use the example, well, Bitcoin wasn't around then, so I would have put it into gold or silver.
Yeah.
But we'll use gold because it's easier math on gold. So gold was probably about $300 an ounce then. Even say $400 an ounce. Let's round up. And now 22 years later, gold's $2,400 an ounce. So if you held $100,000 in cash, you'd still have $100,000. And not to mention, those would be notes from the 90s. Because if it's the year 2002, most of your notes would be from the 80s and 90s. Try spending currency right now from the 80s and 90s. You couldn't spend it at most stores. Their pen wouldn't mark it. Their machine won't scan it. Wow. I took a picture before from a Dunkin' Donuts. It said, we don't accept $50 or $100 bills.
I've been seeing that more and more. Even though things cost so much more, I would think they would need to accept those larger bills with the way inflation's going.
Cost some more.
You're not seeing it.
I mean, you could, if you buy a couple people things at Dunkin', you're spending over $20.
Yeah. So
you can't use a 50. I mean, that's crazy because fake bills is the main. And they'd also say, well, they don't want to be giving out all their change. But a lot of it has to do with fake bills. They don't want to get counterfeit bills.
Exactly.
And so bottom line is, if you held that $100,000 in cash, you'd have notes that you'd struggle to be able to use right now, $100,000 worth of them. Had you bought gold, you'd have at least $600,000 worth of gold. I rest my case as to what would be the smarter thing to hold.
No, exactly.
This might be a little bit smarter, but Westwood, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's pretty. It's hard to
If you
hard
can
to see it on there. It's a Bitcoin rocket. It's a 1 ounce silver
Oh, nice.
rocket
Very nice.
shaped like a
Very nice.
rocket, and it's got like little monkeys climbing on it and all kinds of artwork, and
It's
pretty
super
cool.
cool.
It's one of 5,000, so that's up for auction tomorrow, or what, in 2 days
on Saturday.
on Saturday. Yep.
And the
Pretty
link
cool.
is in the description for the auction. You can go ahead and register, sign up, be ready, and we've got all kinds of stuff.
Shout out to my parents for donating.
Yes, shout out to Kathy and Pops.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we got a nice question on the screen. Do you think they are manipulating Litecoin because of that? Yes, I do. And yes, they're manipulating it, but they're creating a lot of FUD against Litecoin. And here's my evidence behind why. So you have these Bitcoin maximalist losers that have been, and I did a tweet about this in a
I saw the tweet. I was just thinking that it's like you put it nicely when you called them losers just now, because I think you're a little more harsh, and more descriptive.
I was very harsh in the video, but rightfully so. The gloves are off with me. You know what?
I could tell.
I am so pissed at these people because they've been so toxic to our freedom, and they're such idiots. Because all they've done is hurt crypto adoption. They've destroyed freedom. They destroyed the crypto movement by saying, well, stack sats, don't spend anything, hodl. And I remember years ago, I reached out to some Bitcoin maximalist guy, and he had Bitcoin integrated. And I said, hey, you have really cool stuff. I said, would you consider integrating Litecoin? He said, well, Litecoin's a shit coin, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I said, well, you accept credit cards and you accept PayPal and all that. And I said, why wouldn't you accept Litecoin? And he goes, well, because it's a shit. It's not needed because of Lightning, was his answer. I said, you're not accepting payments via Lightning right now. He just gave me every reason under the sun why he would accept Litecoin. I said, look, don't you think Litecoin's better than accepting a credit card? Especially since you could just, if you want Bitcoin, I get it. Accept Litecoin on the front end and convert to Bitcoin on the back end. Back then, we had a gateway that would do it for you. Litecoin would come in and out would go Bitcoin out the back door. And he goes, no, I'd rather get the credit card.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And these people, they brag about being toxic maximalists.
Yeah, they love it.
They're toxic. I mean, you're toxic. Who brags about this? Who brags about this stuff? It's like, it's sick. So they're sick people. They really are. So yeah. So to the question before that was on the screen, there is an effort to discredit Litecoin because there's thousands of cryptos that actually suck. The fact that they attack Litecoin, they should attack everything besides Litecoin if they're going to attack a crypto, not Litecoin. I think Litecoin has helped Bitcoin. There would be no Lightning if there wasn't Litecoin. First of all, Litecoin implemented SegWit first, which was it's a prerequisite for Lightning to run on. The first Lightning transaction was done on Litecoin. Even now with MWeb, you could potentially bring that to Bitcoin. There's so many things that Litecoin's done to help Bitcoin. Litecoin, if you're a maximalist, should be the last coin that you attack. Now, I don't mind people that are an investment maximalist. If they say, hey, using Litecoin, that sounds cool. I only want to own Bitcoin. It's easy. But you know what? I hope you guys get your Litecoin adoption, or you know what? Maybe Litecoin could be used for payments. That's cool. I got respect for those people. I'm not saying to own Litecoin. I don't tell people to own anything. I don't know.
Which is more in line with the white paper than anybody telling people that they shouldn't be into something else.
And we don't know people's financial situation. Who am I to tell somebody stack sats? You might not be paying your rent. Your car might be getting repoed. You might not be able to put food on your table. So I'm going to demand that you buy Litecoin or buy Bitcoin? No. I just say, hey, it's a good way to move value. has a lot of good properties of it. If you find that advantageous, it is undervalued. It might be something good to own. But I don't know your current financial situation, so I can't tell you what to own. I hope you take care of your life needs first before you consider holding cryptocurrency as a store of value. Just, hope you can put food on the table kind of thing. So I do think it's being discredited because of that. And I take it a step further. I think a lot of these people are paid operatives of who we would consider a deep state, the globalist banking cartel, the banking industrial complex, people like the World Economic Forum, the World Global Elites, the bad guys, those guys. So the Bitcoin maximalists, a lot of them are just copycats, idiots. They're just repeating stuff that some other maximalist said, and they doing it for clout. But trust me, a lot of them are paid operatives to discredit us and to put negative information out there. So I've lost all respect for these people. I don't like them. If they have a problem with me or what I'm saying, show your face and come say it to me in person at a conference.
You can show up at the Litecoin Summit.
Yeah, come to the Litecoin Summit. It's only $84.
You know what? You show up with the balls to talk to me about this, I'll pay for your ticket. And you debate me in person.
There you go.
Maybe we can get them to let us go on stage and debate this. I know an awful lot about the payment system. So you better come back with a lot of knowledge of the current system. If not, bye-bye. And they give you this fairy tale shit and crap that they read. It's not real world stuff. Nothing that the white paper, like you said, Lisa, it's about moving value from A to B across the internet without A knowing B or B knowing A. Bitcoin, per the white paper, is an invention. It's a way to transfer value around without fraud taken. They talk about chargebacks and reversals in the white paper. They talk about it. They don't say anything about number go up.
No, it's about the use case. It's about a peer-to-peer electronic transaction outside of a financial institution, outside of a government. It's the ability to transfer value that you own, or I should say that you can control across an independent network to where there's no middleman. That's it. And it's got to work. If it doesn't work, then you got a problem.
If you think about it, the government and the Fed and all these people, they love what's happened to Bitcoin. It's unusable. It's in ETFs. They can control it. Number goes up. They love number go up. It pumps the stock market. It creates a lot of taxes for people to pay. It's exactly what they want. Exactly what they want. And so it couldn't be more what they want. They love it. Yeah, Bitcoin. No one can use it. It's pumps wall. They can manipulate Bitcoin to pump Wall Street, pumps the NASDAQ, pumps AI stocks, pumps all that up. That's good for them. That's what they want. So they don't want you thinking about a way to transact in a peer-to-peer manner without fraud. Fraud's good. They want fraud in payments. Fraud in payments could have been solved long ago. They like the fraud in payments. That's great for them. It's money. It's fees collected. It's exactly what they want. They don't care if the business loses money because of fraud. They actually love it so much, they're anti-small business. They want the fraud to occur. It puts pressure on small business.
They frauded the fraud and said that it was a crypto fraud with FTX, but it was really legacy finance money that was getting moved through with the cover up of a crypto company to make things happen. So they're a fraud of a fraud. But Westwood, what do you think about them manipulating Bitcoin, and or Litecoin, I'm sorry, and why do you think that benefits them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to be able to have an asset that, I mean, here's the thing. If you've got a liquid asset that's very easy to move back and forth with very minimal transaction fees like Litecoin, you know, under a penny a transaction, whether it's $1 million, $1 billion, $100, if you've got a system like that where you have people actually using it, that really just kind of smacks against their entire system. I mean, you know, they want to be able to be the controllers. They want to be able to, I mean, like I always said, they want to be the vampires running the casino. You know, they want to be able to have all your tokens and not let you withdraw them, you know, keep you playing the game, keep you locked up in their system. And if you're trying to educate people out of that system, which is basically what Litecoin does, gives people the ability, the freedom to move it, to, you know, transact in it, to send value anytime they want, then there's no need for them. Well, they need to be needed, you know, and so you've got to have these ETFs. And so, yeah, you've got to have big players that come out of the woodwork and are very smart and very eloquent and, you know, give you a message that, you know, the Michael Saylors and the Max Kaisers. And Max Kaiser used to be a proponent of Litecoin. I don't know who got to him, but now it's just, I mean, give me a break. I mean, it's one solution fits all, and that's not how life is. You know, one thing doesn't fix everything. And so as they usher in this new system to to get people to buy in, and you're right, when they want to get people to think of Bitcoin as an investment rather than a use case item, and they're being very successful at it because they've got a lot of mouthpieces. They've got a lot of people out there preaching that, to where, yes, you know, let's make it easy for people. Let's make it easy for the trillions of dollars to come into the market. And let's have these great custodians that, oh, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about, you know, being our own bank and learning how the network works, learning how much freedom there's built into it. Let's just give them an easy avenue into holding it for them, and we'll guarantee price goes up, basically, because they're going to accumulate all of it and they're going to set the price. And if you ever want to have freedom outside that system and transact that value that you've got locked up, look at it as the new pension fund. You got it in there. What are you going to do with it? Well, you're going to take a lot of hits trying to get it out, if you can even get it out. And they want you there. They don't want you to use an asset that you have control over, that doesn't cost you a lot, that they don't have control over. Now, it could be Litecoin, it could be other cryptocurrencies that have been around, but Litecoin specifically, when somebody says, well, prove that it's manipulated. Well, it's manipulated through information, through narrative. There's no doubt about that. And that's a very powerful tool. You know, it's the deception that they put out there. It's really what it is. So, I mean, you know, I can't at this point, you know, my own perspective, Bitcoin, yeah, it could be a great store of value, but it's a horrible form of monetary transfer for the little guy. I mean, for big guys like Saylor, that, you know, they don't have a problem paying $500 a transaction or $1,000 a transaction.
They write it off against
it. Doesn't matter because they got billions, you know? And so, I mean, but for people who are just trying to get ahead, they're going to get locked out of that system. Is basically what's going to happen.
They just say, well, shut up and lightning's coming. And you can use lightning. You don't need anything else.
Because they'll control that too.
Lightning infringes on Reggie Middleton's patents.
So there's that.
Not only that, lightning was not designed, and I did a video about this.
Yeah, you did.
It was designed to move US dollars around the world, not Bitcoin.
Interesting.
And
maybe Bitcoin's going to be the new USDC or the new CBDC or the new US dollar standard, you know, once they control it. Maybe that's
what my beef was a few years back with that Strike product, which I thought was cool, but it was a custodial product. People fought me on that so much. I said, that's different from what I'm talking about, is Litecoin as a way to pay for things, non-custodial, the non-custodial wallet, no chargebacks, permissionless. That's not what Strike's offering. And people are like, just shut up and Strike's great. Yada. I said, that's not, first of all, I don't trust that kid behind Strike.
I was going to say,
as far as I can
Jack
throw
or whatever. No,
he's an actor. He's an actor.
You're right.
He's an actor. He's you know, he's a paid operative of the deep state, and he's He goes on stage, he swears a real lot.
Wasn't he supposed to be like the Mark Zuckerberg of payments?
Yeah, and they say, seem like you're like this punk kid, and you go on stage, and maximalists cheer for you, and Jack Mahler's, he's so cool, and he's so cool, and blah, 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 blah. He swears, and he's got a bad, and people are like, oh, well, he swears. Well, you swear. That doesn't, what is that? That's a lot of.
He's anti-establishment because he cusses.
He swears.
Yeah.
That's noise. I'm giving you facts. I'm giving you real world examples and facts. This kid's talking fairy tale bullshit. And, again, and look at his product now. It censors you.
Yeah.
It's not really usable. So I hope Lightning does succeed. And I hope it's permissionless, where if it was flowing in a good manner, you would have atomic swaps on Lightning. And maybe you could go in with Litecoin, come out with Bitcoin, or even transact with dollars. If you want dollars and you want to okay, well, this would be a cool way to use Lightning. Now, obviously, it's a lot better to onboard onto Lightning with Litecoin. Say you were able to onboard onto Lightning with Litecoin, paid somebody, and they said, well, I don't know what Litecoin is. I just want dollars, because most businesses just want dollars. They don't want Bitcoin either. They're just going to want dollars because they're struggling to keep the lights on. They just got to pay bills. So if they say, well, we take payments via Lightning, cool. Doesn't matter how I pay you on the front end. You set the back end just to get dollars. And I could pay you in any currency that runs on Lightning, and the system would atomic swap it. That's years down the road. That's not now. The problem is right now that because we've been attacked so much, there's not a lot of crypto adoption. There is no need for Litecoin on Lightning right now, because Litecoin is cheap enough to send on chain layer 1. You don't need Lightning. So really the only Lightning that's been built out at all is Bitcoin, which it's very hard to use. People don't realize all the solutions that work are custodial. You don't have the private keys.
Yep, centralized.
And it's these LSPs, they're called Lightning Service Providers, which are big players. I mean, look at a big investor in Lightning is MasterCard. Mm-hmm. Why do you think MasterCard's invested in Lightning? Obviously,
because you'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
We've talked about MasterCard's role in payments. They're just a payment rail, a payment network. So what if underneath of the MasterCard was Lightning, and then rolling into probably some type of stable coin? They could potentially roll out their own stable coin, run it on Lightning, and it's processed at the point of sale through the MasterCard network. So you're using your MasterCard like you've always done. Public has to learn nothing new. Behind the scenes, it's instant settlement into Lightning, moves at light speed, and it's a digital stable dollar that runs. And then it could settle into Bitcoin potentially if that's a Lightning service provider and they have a big enough channel for it down the line. And that would probably be palatable to the world, because Bitcoin's thought of as a potential like reserve asset maybe, and nobody controls it. It's not a country's currency. That'd be cool. But I think for our freedom, we should be able to use any currency on the front end. I want to hold commodity money. I want to use Litecoin. Yep. I like Litecoin. It's cheap on layer 1. And hey, if I can use it on Lightning, and if I could use it connected to a MasterCard, that's cool. But let me use it connected to that MasterCard. Let me use it how I see fit. And if I want to send somebody peer-to-peer Litecoin, let me do it outside of that MasterCard network. Now, obviously, it would work better in the public peer-to-see. They'll never allow, the problem is because we have no freedom, because we have no constitution, they won't allow a crypto like Litecoin to be used for payments through any type of system that you see out there. It can be done, it could have been done 5 years ago. Technology was there. Problem is the banking industrial complex puts a roadblock in the way and says, you can't do that. That's not to be allowed, or it'll shut everything down, take everything from you, ruin your life, shut your payments company down. No one's doing that kind of thing. You can't interfere. You know, they say the cartel's bad. That's why I call them the globalist banking cartel. They're worse than any drug cartel that's out there. They don't just financially kill you and financially ruin. Regular cartel will just kill you. This cartel will financially ruin you.
Want to take your soul. They want it all.
Want it all.
They want it all. I mean, isn't it a new gold standard, though? I mean, you know, that's just kind of replicating what they've done before. I mean, that's what I see happening with Bitcoin. I wish it wouldn't, but that's kind of what I see happening, to where they look at the biggest sun in the sky, and that's the one they want to harness and lasso. And they did that with gold and central banks. You know, this is the reserve currency of the central banks. Well, then silver, they kind of, we're not going to have this silver standard anymore. We're going on a gold standard. You know, don't worry about that. That's not real money. Gold's the only money. And so I kind of see them doing the same thing with Bitcoin.
Sure. Bitcoin will be, and again, Bitcoin will be a settlement layer for things down the line. You won't be able to use it layer one at all.
No, it'll be unusable for.
And you won't even be able to probably use Lightning without going through these LSPs, these Lightnings, because it'll be too expensive. The fees will be so high. Normal people says, yeah, run your own Lightning node, or run your own Lightning wallet, non-custodial. Pay $10,000 to open a channel up. And oops, you made a mistake. Pay another $10,000 to close it. Then pay another $10,000 to open it. People will just say, well, I'll just use MasterCards or
their agency, I know.
Or Facebook's Lightning node, because they're an LSP. You know what I mean? And so Bitcoin will be that settlement layer with things on top of it that still control everything you do. It's just that it's a way to where the world might find it palatable, because it's running on a system that's better than Swift with more real-time settlement. And that's not only controlled by the US, but again, they won't want it to be, don't want to scare people away from everything else. So that's my beef. But, you know, we got to just keep fighting the good fight, because Litecoin does give us that shot at freedom. And if people wake up and realize, hey, it's not just about number go up, it's about preserving your freedom and preserving your purchasing power, and this is a good alternative, then but we got to move. It's got to move fast, because we've pushed bit, you know, in 2017, if we were on a lifeboat or raft that was in the ocean floating, the island of freedom was maybe 50 miles away from us. Now you could say, okay, if we play the currents right and do all this right, we can get to that island of freedom. Right now we're in the middle of the ocean. We're 1,000 miles away. That's how far away we've gotten from that island of freedom, because we fought amongst ourselves. They've paid maximalists to attack us. They've done FTX to us. They've done all this meme coin stuff to us. They've done an NFT bubble to us. So they've tarnished us with the media. They've tarnished us with the news. They've put fake stuff out there. So now it's the point where we've let them just get that much more ready, and then we've pushed ourselves back. So all maximalists, you could thank them for is, thanks a lot. You've taken my freedom away from me. And if you think about it, it's like, say you're fighting against a mandatory vax. That'd be like maximalists saying, shut up and get the vax. That's the best thing for you. Screw your freedom. They're like those people that you see that said, screw your freedom. you want this VAX, and the VAX is Bitcoin, and that's what you want. Essentially, that's what it is. You're vaxxed with Bitcoin, and they
maximalists, a bunch of maximalists out there.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are talking about solutions here today. And we do believe that, especially with MWeb and the mobile wallet now adding MWeb, that there are these pathways or railways to freedom and sovereignty and owning your own value, wealth in your own possession. So we think that's the answer. And
we have to act fast, because if we don't get a lot of people on board this bull market and really get the information out, then we're going to lose the battle, because what's going to happen is they can push the price up and back down, make a lot, scare way more people away. People will say, well, cryptos went up and back down again. And now, you know what? We'll just buy that Bitcoin ETF they're talking about. Then you'll be trapped in your CBDC that's in your government app, or your app. Doesn't even need to be a government app. It could be an app these big banks control. Well, they're the government. They're controlled by the government. Controls them. The government tells them exactly what to do, and they do it. So they don't veer away from what look at ESG. All this is government mandates.
That is.
All this stuff.
And not lawful.
No,
it is policy.
None of it's been lawful.
Yeah.
And I mean, so that's why you need freedom money. That's why you need to take the initiative to learn how to have, I mean, you've been given a golden goose. I mean, you've been given an opportunity to where you've got the ability to use money outside their system, peer to peer. Hey, bought a shirt, $84million.com. He's selling it, takes Litecoin and payment, boom, send him Litecoin, done deal. And it's just done. And that's what you do. I mean, real quick, the example earlier, you're talking about $50 and $100 bills. My wife works in retail, and they said that you can't take any bills prior to a certain date. And I can't remember what it was. It was 2007, maybe, just because it probably didn't have the security features in it. She can't take those bills. It doesn't matter if it's a 10, a 5, nothing, a $1 bill, anything prior to that date. We don't want them. We don't want to deal with it.
So in my example, if you went 20 years ago, you decided to store some currency away, and you did it in Fed notes back then, they would be unusable right now. You couldn't even.
Where are you going to spend them?
Where are you going to spend them at? What are you going to do with them?
People look at them now and they're like, looks like Confederate money. Is that not
and then
real?
Try turning those into your bank.
Yeah.
We're going to fill out all these, they call SARS reports on you.
Sure. Oh, how long? Where did you get
activity reports.
Isn't that a virus? SARS?
Yeah, right.
Coincidentally,
but sure it's not by accident.
When they're suspicious.
That's what they do. They use the same language.
And then you say, oh, I'm gonna be slick. I'm gonna do all $9,000 transactions, so they don't have to report it. Well, then they fill out the SARS reports on you.
Yep.
There are some that they don't even tell you about. No. I heard, everybody thinks it's like $10,000 transactions.
If you do like $1,000 transactions consistently, they're going to write you up. Yeah. I mean, when they see a trend, you lose.
If you do 3 or more in a row, it's considered structuring.
Yes, that's the word.
Now, structuring is a violation of the anti-money laundering compliance and guidelines set forth. Now they say, well, you're structuring. We're going to arrest you for laundering. So now all of a sudden, it's your currency, your freedom, and you've been charged with laundering because of the Patriot Act.
Did you go to the Patriot Act? Did they get a warrant to look at your private transactions? No,
because you walked into their casino and played with their chips, and they got their own rules, and so they broke your kneecaps.
And look at all this. The Patriot Act, designed for terrorists only, now says, now
define terrorist.
There's suspicious activity reports, and you do 3 transactions in a row that we suspect are trying to evade us. You're structuring, you're laundering funds, and we're going to arrest you.
I'd be like, but it's counterfeit money. That'd be my argument. But you're counterfeiting it, so how can it be real?
It's fake. It's all fake.
It's a sick system. So guys, wake up.
Get out of it. Get hard
friends.
assets in your possession.
Get to the meetup tomorrow if you want to learn about crypto.
Thank you, Nana, for the donation of the Coin Vigilante Bitcoin watch. So if you're a maxi, show up and click the link and buy the watch.
Or you can be like Westwood and buy a Litecoin watch from Coin Vigilante.
By the way,
Coin Vigilante has lots of great watches. Yeah. But try to get to the meetup tomorrow. It's free. Once again, in Edmond, Oklahoma, starting around 4:00 at the rail yard. And it's a really cool little downtown area.
Little shrimp. What is it? Little Brent.
Lil Brent's is the big bar, or the bigger bar that we'll be in. But they also have sushi, they have pizza, they have wings,
beer.
They have tons of beer, but all kinds of different restaurants there. And you can bring food in from other restaurants into other restaurants. They're really cool about all of that.
Like
there's an ice cream
buffet.
Place. Yeah. Yeah. There's an ice cream place. There's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to be there tomorrow doing our live happy hour, and we hope to see you guys there. We'll do some giveaways and stuff like that for people in the audience that are there with us. And then Saturday we've changed because of the tragedy in our family. Anybody that purchased a ticket to the Team Mighty event, I'll be hosting a private dinner close by the museum. We've made a donation to honor our champion Share Bear, and they're going to be sending me a letter or something to do a memorial in her name to honor her for the donation to the museum. And then we'll host the dinner. And during the auction, then the proceeds of the auction will go to Mighty Miller. So the way you guys can really help out, honor my daughter, Mighty Mia, and what we're trying to do with helping a family who's caring for their child during this treatment time and having to travel between different states, is you can click the link in this description of this video. You can sign up for the auction. It will go live at 4 p.m. Eastern, no, 4 p.m. Central. So it's from 4 to 6 Central, which is 5 to 7 Eastern. And during that time, you can bid, and then we will get everything all wrapped up at the end, and we'll get those funds to that family in need. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you that donated. I also received Daddy-O's whiskey stave, which is like a piece of a barrel.
That was like what, half an hour to open that thing up?
It did take me quite a while. He is the excellent packer.
He should be from Green Bay.
He can rap. He's a great. Oh, I'm gonna whack Westwood with the sign.
Just got splintered. Litecoin splintered
when they don't,
not the first time.
When they don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So really cool stuff. Lots of other stuff on the.
Can we bid with Litecoin?
You can't bid. You can bid,
and then bid in dollar price and then pay with Litecoin.
You can if you contact me, and so when you register, you'll sign up and you'll have an email. And so when at the end of the email, or I think you can send me a note, but before we close out, I can cancel your credit card bid or pre-auth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
However they do it. So it won't charge your card, and then you can pay me in Litecoin instead.
Crypto directly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peer-to-peer.
She
and
prefers
we'll put
XRP.
it in we'll put it in the Team Mighty wallet. And then that way we're hoping that the family's open to taking some crypto, but they are really in like immediate need for cash. Yeah, so we'll just do what's best for them.
Okay. Great.
But
awesome. Take control.
Sounds like really cool stuff and great cause. So
yeah.
Jump on tomorrow, guys.
Yeah. So jump on tomorrow. You can still buy tickets. It's mostly just a donation at this point, unless you're here in town and you want to have that private dinner with us.
Come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. I would love to have people
set you up with a Litecoin wallet and send you Litecoin. Sound money for the digital age.
Yeah. If you don't see that, I will refresh it and add the ticket event opportunity on this description as well. But if not, go to another previous like there's a video of me on the channel actually going downtown and talking about stuff, and I have the links in there to buy the tickets to the event and to buy do the auction thing. Sorry. Yeah. It's been a lot the last couple days. I'm a little in my head. So
and then I show up and
no, it's wonderful.
Disturb everything.
Oh, I needed a Westwood hug
right.
badly. So I'm glad you're here. Johnny, thanks for joining us. This has been great. I think it's so much great information for people who are feel like they're drowning in this hopelessness. You know, there are lifeboats out there, and there are ways to save your wealth, preserve your wealth. I think we're going to look back on this as the greatest depression, but that is yet to come, I guess.
Great show today, you guys. And I'm on Twitter. If you guys got a question about using Litecoin or whatever, DM me, and no question's a dumb question. Ask me, and if I can't figure it out, I'll try to figure it out by asking some resources that I have. So just ask away.